Hey, this is Oliver and welcome to a new tutorial. First, this is what we will create today. So we will do all of those pixel effects, this fuck coming around here, and all of this animation within, hopefully a few minutes. So let's jump in. First of all, I make a new composition. I make it HD. 1920 by 1080, 25 frames a second, but it's up to you, and 10-second length. That should make it. Hit OK. First of all, I bring in my footage, which is this robot here. And to get started, I'd like to draw a circle shape for this light here on the bottom. So I go to my shape tool and draw some kind of circle shape here so that it fits. Let me drag this down. Something around here should make it. So as you see, I'm in the middle of the comp, so it's not that it should be 100% sit here, so you don't have to track that. That's fine because you have such small movement. I think that should make it. You can do later if you like to, but for now that's fine. So let's start with the fun part. Go to Effects and Presets and type in Pattoon and drag on the Pattoon plugin to the shape layer. It starts with a checker pattern, and we go here and choose some topical, and we choose this bluish texture here to texturize the shape. And the next thing is we go to the displace engine, make it active, bring it to 100%, and choose displace intensity from turbulence, which is exactly what we need. And then we go to the transform settings and bring the distance and the way up so that we can see what happens there. Now you see everything is displaced to the left hand side, and this is because the transfer mode is set to scale and the offset point is sitting here. So if you bring this to the middle, you will see you can tweak this by moving that, but we like to change the transfer mode from scale X and Y to slide. And now you can grab the direction center, and if you click around, you can see you can slide this up. So we bring this up to here so that it has a good point here, so everything is straight upwards. That's cool. And bring the distance and somewhere around here. That's fine. You see, it's automatically starting animating this thing here, and it's a bit weird, and we try to tweak this. It's a bit to the left hand side, so bring this on the direction center so that it's straight upwards. That looks better. So it's very fast, and this is because it takes the displace information from our turbulence layer or turbulence stack here. So click on that and bring the auto animation speed down to 2. Have a look. Yeah, that's very cool. That's very organic. If you like to have more than those, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 instances. You can of course bring the stroke width up, so you got more pixels to displace, as you see here. So maybe we try 8, which gives me a bit more pixels here, and I think that's cool for now. I like that. So first, the next thing is we change the transfer mode from the shape layer from normal to add to get rid of those blackish things here, and now everything looks like it should be. You can see we have a little overlapping here, so we can tweak this later, but for now this is very cool. So let's duplicate this shape layer, string D on the keyboard, and now we have 2 of those instances of Pattoon on 2 shape layers, and we'd like to have a bit more animation going on here. So we go to the particle section and we set the animation speed to 10, and this is what we have. Let me solo that. This is what we have now. So it goes up, and we have only 1 pixel or particle instance. So if you crank this up to, let's say, 5 elements, you got 5 times the elements coming up here. And you see it starts swapping here, and this is because it's looping. Now here, swap, swap. And if you don't like this, you can go to animate alpha and set the alpha peak to, let's say, 50. And now everything is perfectly fading in and fading out, so you get a seamless loop of those pixels. Okay, so the next thing we'd like to tweak here is the we got some randomness. We like to have some randomness, so we go to random position offset spread and bring this bit up so you can see it starts getting out of position here, so you get some randomness going on here. And maybe we like this the end point of our pixels a bit higher. So in the transform settings, so in the displace transform settings, we have the distance n set to 81, and we bring this up to something like so. That should make it. So now we have this very cool effect, and because it's also added, that's cool for now. So it's easy as that to achieve this. So let's talk about this foggy wipe that comes from the top and goes over the robot. Okay, how to achieve this? Okay, it's quite easy. We go back to our comp. First of all, we duplicate our footage, string D on the keyboard. I will hide those pixels for now so that we can take care of this robot here, and let me hide the background for now too. Okay, so this is only the robot. Now I will draw a rough mask around this robot. It don't have to be perfect, just to give him a little organic view here. Bit of those white things here, and I'm almost done. That's fine. That's okay for me. So now I'd like to have this effect coming up from 2.5 seconds, and we have a preset for that. It's called Ghost Fog, and we use Ghost Fog 2, and we drag this onto our layer and it disappears. If you scrub through, you will see from the left hand side, first of all let me hit U on the keyboard to see the animation. You see from the left hand side, over a few seconds it will start to come. I'd like to have this from top to bottom, so we tweak this, and if you hit U on the keyboard, you see it's pre-keyed and it uses the overlay mode inside our basic move. So that means we go to our basic move, we go to the displace and the overlay, and you will see it set from left to right. That's not what we want to do or what we want to have. So we want to have to from top to bottom. So this is up down, which means it comes from nothing and comes fully in place. That's why it's only one arrow key. So we choose up down, which means it fades from nothing to completely here and again to nothing. So that's why we have two of those arrows, one left, one right, up down. We choose this one here. So now we have to set the overlay center. If you click on this here, you will see the overlay center. This is where the animation, the overlay animation starts, is set to here. So we set that upwards to the head, and we uncheck the stopwatch, so we animate that on our own. So and let's say I will bring back the background. So let's say on 2.5 seconds I'd like this effect come from top to bottom. So I hit the stopwatch here, overlay strength, and I go to, let's say, after 5 seconds I'd like to have this finished, and I go all the way. You see it comes over and it stays here. So if you bring the overlay down to 50%, let's say, you will see, and first of all you go to the output, and from the final render you go over to displace overlay, so you can see the overlay map that drives this animation. Make sure to have the interpolation checked, and of course not checked, and of course the show only displaced pixels checked. And here you can see this is the overlay strength. So this is, let me say, a ramp, and you can animate the overlay center. So I go back to final render. You will see the dust here, and I go to the overlay center and bring it all the way up to here. So now it starts. I click the stopwatch on the overlay center and go to second number 5, and again drag this down to here so that everything is out of focus. And now if you see that, you see it moves over the robot. Let's set the transfer mode from normal to add to get rid of the black areas, and now you see you have this foggy thing coming from top to bottom as an overlay. Of course you can tweak this by playing with the overlay strength. So if you like it a bit smaller, so you can bring this down, you can see that. So it's only a little thing here coming from top to bottom. Okay, or you can crank this up to, let's say, 50 to get a much wider range of that. Here we go. And of course you can play with the opacity, and of course you can play with the detail of this thing here. For example, if you uncheck the fast box blur, you will see this is what's going on here. So this is the animation. Okay, and of course you can go into the detail, as I said before, and change the shape size, for example, or the shape style, for example. So you go to displace, go to the shape section, and for example choose this little dot here, which I like. Now everything is gone, and this is because the dot size, the pixel size, it's too small. So we go to transform and we go to the size start and bring it to 2, and now you will see starting this little grid here, and the size and maybe also to 2. So here we go. This is what we have so far. And if you now in the basic move go down to the overlay strength and bring this down to 11, so you got this little, like some data sheet coming from top to bottom. And for example, if you don't like this box blur here, so much thinner dust coming from top to bottom. But for example, you don't like that, you like to go for another style, you can go to your effects and preset and say directional blur, drag this onto the comp, set the length to, let's say, 50, and you have it top bottom right now. Let's say 30, not so much. So now you have this little thing here. Maybe let's increase the pixel size a little bit in the detail. So here we are, and let's say pixel size, and let's go to 4, and the start size also to 4. So now you start seeing this here. Looks like a yeah, shiny glow effect going over this robot. And remember, we played with the overlay strength in the basic mode. So in the overlay strength, bring this up to 30, and you get much more of this. So now it looks like whatever you like. So this is a very, very cool style and a very cool way to really fast do this effect. I'll leave it for now this way. Bring back my other two things here, and as you see, we are previewing in full mode, full resolution in real time. So if you make a preview of this, hit the space bar, and this is, yeah, live real time. So nothing is speeded up by the record. So this is how fast Pattoon will render this. And yeah, it's very cool. Of course you can play with the mask feather, and you can compose this together. But what we are what we like to achieve is a little fog coming out of this, some basic fog going on here. So let's go for this. So we take our shape layer number 2, which is let me solo that, which is this one here with the animation. Okay, I will duplicate that, string on the keyboard, and let's rename this just to stay organized, say fog. And first of all, I go to my settings here, and I will apply a fast box blur. Here we go, and let's say 2 and 25. Let's say 4. And now we go to the Pattoon settings, we go to the displace engine, and we go to our shape layer. And what we will do here, we want to give this pixels another shape, and of course we like to increase the size. For that, first of all, the max shape density controls the render speed. So that means the higher the volume here, the more precise is the rendering. So in this case, we don't like it so precise because we are blurring this afterwards. So let's go to 5 to speed things up. And I will click this, and then I will choose this cloud here. And now you see nothing really changed. So we have to go to the size of this thing, start and end. So let's crank the size up, start and end. And maybe we wanna solo the fog layer, so you see definitely nothing. Let's go to the max shape dense in the shape tab and bring this up, and you will start seeing some kind of foggish thing here. So this is very cool. Let's go to the transform settings in the displace settings and bring the distance end a bit down. So I don't like the fog so high. It's just a touch of here. So that's very cool. Maybe we'd like to have not so dark edges or holes here inside the fog. So we go to the particles section and play with the random spread. We bring this up a little bit. So you immediately start seeing this is what happens here. And maybe we'd like to have 6 instances of this. And let's see what else can we do. Let's play with the size at the end, at the start. Now things getting cool. So yeah, that looks like fog. Nicely. So it's blue tinted. I go to my blend sections and bring the opacity a bit down, just a touch, so you can see the white background of the stroke better. Let's compose this together. So this is what we have now. It's set to add. Let me do some fog down here. So let me duplicate the fog layer, string D on a keyboard, and I will rename this to fog down. And with the fog down selected, I go to my displace engine, and as you remember, we had set that to slide. So the slide point is somewhere over here. So if we click that, you can see it's over there, and I dragged it all the way down so that everything goes downwards. And let me see. Let me solo that so we can see that better. So now I think that is much better. And let me try, I like this fog spreading around, so let me try not slide but scale X and Y, and let me play with the direction center point. I bring this up to here, so now that looks like it goes from top to bottom, maybe a bit higher, something like that. Let's undo this, unhide that. So now let's see what we have. Let me do a quick preview. And again, we get all these things going on. You see the speed of the live preview. And that's quite cool. Here we go. So it's just to get a bit of details here. Yeah, that looks cool. Maybe I like to have a bit more visibility here. So to achieve this, remember in the Pattoon settings, we have the shapes and we have the shape dense. Let's make it more dense. Let's say 30. And you can see here we have this thing going on. Maybe it's a bit too straight, so I go to my displace, transform settings, and go to my direction center and bring this a bit more down. Something like this. So now we have a little detail going on here. Maybe I like to push this whole thing a bit down so it not blends here so bright white. So let's go under here. So that's better. And now you see we have some fog going on there. Just a touch, just to get some details. And yeah, that's it. That's how fast you can achieve this effect. Hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Make sure to check out the AA Scripts channel for another Pattoon plugins, and make sure to check out our tutorials on aascripts.com/Pattoon. See you in the next tutorial. Bye!